What's up? I guess I've got a new deck. Well, I've had this deck for years. I had this, I think, on Dueling Network. But here we have 60 card scraps, or grass scraps, or shit scraps. But that's beside the point. Let's just get straight into the deck list. Alright, 3 copies of Ash Blossom because you need it. It's a good stun card, a good hand trap. Hand traps are the future. Alright, next we've got 1 copy of Max C, because in a 60 card deck, if you don't draw grass, this is just good to help get your, draw power going. But those aren't actual scrap cards, so let's ignore them for now and just get on to our first card, Scrap Beast. You can see with Scrap Beast, if it's targeted for an attack, you just destroy it at the end of the battle phase. Well, only if it's in defense position. Now you can see that, well, you wouldn't have seen, but scraps have a lot of effects centered around them, destroying themselves, and we'll get into what you can best do to combo this off. So you run this guy because he's a tuner, and when he's destroyed by the effect of a scrap card, you can add a scrap card, well, a scrap monster, to your hand. So yeah, he's pretty good. He fetches crap back from the graveyard. Next up, 1 copy of Scrap Breaker, which is, it's Cyber Dragon, but you have to destroy a scrap monster. Even if you just end up destroying it, you can trigger another card later, which is pretty excellent. You can trigger this card, but we'll get to it when we get to it. Next up, we've got 3 copies of Chimera. You can only summon the scrap monsters, and I've got 1 of each in here. But it's a good effect. Well, alright, what was it? Yeah, when it's normal summoned, you can just select a scrap tuner in your graveyard and special summon it. This can be Goblin to go into Scrap Dragon. No, not Scrap Dragon. No, you can't summon Goblin. No point then. It can be... Holy crap. Beast. Basically just summon Beast off of Chimera. That's pretty much it. But okay, then we've got 2 copies of Goblin. You set it, it can't be destroyed, then it blows itself up. But when it's blown up, you can take a scrap from your graveyard and just put it in your hand. So you can grab a Kong or a Chimera or a Beast. Yeah, so it's pretty good, and I run 2 of it. Next up, 3 copies of Golem. Once per turn, you can select 1 level 4 lower scrap monster in your graveyard and special summon it to either player's side of the field. Never summon it to your opponent's side of the field, unless you want to beat them with Searcher, I guess. But no, so you're not going to summon this card by tributing it. You're going to get it off Factory, and we'll get to Factory. So I run 3 because it's just a pretty good card. It's a monster reborn every turn. And if you've got multiples of them, then you can just summon this. If you've got 2, you can go into Searcher and Goblin and then go into Trish. So yeah. Next up, 1 copy of Hunter. You don't mostly use it for the sending of the tuner, because you can see I've got a few tuners, and some of them like to be in the graveyard, but the best thing about it is that you can trigger it by destroying a scrap, and so that'll trigger your Factory, but we'll get to Factory when we get to Factory. Next up, Scrap Harambe, and I'm never going to forgive myself for saying that. When this card is normal summon, destroy it. Yep, it's tier 0. But when it's destroyed by the effect of a scrap, which I believe includes itself, you can take a scrap monster from your graveyard and just add it to your hand. Except Scrap Kong, but you're not going to add Kong. You're going to add Breaker, or Beast, or Chimera. Next up, 2 copies of Mind Reader. During your main phase 2, you can blow up a scrap to summon this card from your graveyard, but it's banished when it leaves the field, and you have to use scrap monsters for synchro summons of it. So, it's just, you use it to trigger factory, but it's also level 1, so it's a good way to go in a Trishula if you've got 2 Chimeras on the field. Although, you can't actually do that because rulings hit you. But if you've got like 2 Harambe's on the field, then you can go in a Trishula, which is just fine because Trishula is the best synchro in the game. Next up, 3 copies of Orthos. It's a Nomi monster, and it can only be special summoned by controlling a face-up scrap. And when it's summoned, you select a scrap and destroy it. And if it's destroyed by the effect of a scrap, you can take a scrap and add it to your hand. It's a tuner, special summons itself, use it to destroy Searcher, or something else and get a Searcher. Searcher's a good scrap, I think. Yeah. But this isn't Searcher, this is Orthos. You just summon it, use it to destroy, like, a goblin you don't need, and you've got this thing, and you can use it to go into levels that goblin can't. Next up, we have 3 copies of I used to think that these lights were its face, and that it was just a random disc. But no, this is its face. When a scrap monster you control, except Searcher, is destroyed and sent to the graveyard while it's in your graveyard, you can just summon it from the graveyard. But when it's summoned this way, you destroy all non-scraps you control. Now, you use this, it's great recoverability. If your Kong dies, then this summons. If your Beast dies, this summons. If anything dies, you can just get this, even to stop a direct attack, or to get a nice level 1 so you can go on a Trishula. But that's neither here nor there. It's just a good card. Next up, we have 2 copies of Shark. When an effect monster's effect or a spell trap card is activated, destroy this card. So, yeah, that's good. If it's destroyed by the effect of a scrap card and sent to the graveyard, then you can just dump a scrap. Most of the time, I dump Searcher, but sometimes I'll dump Goblin or Mind Reader. Yeah, it's also a good beta, but most of the time you'll just use it, play Factory, destroy it, Factory will summon, Shark will just send a card, and then you can go in a Golem, bring back Shark and Searcher, and then go in a Trishula. Because not Trishula, you go in like Atomic Scrap Dragon. But nah, so Shark is pretty good. Sorta. Next up, 3 copies of Worm. It can attack your opponent directly, but it's destroyed at the end of the battle phase if it does. You don't use it for that. Now what you use it for is if it's destroyed by a scrap card, you can just add a scrap monster from your graveyard to your hand. So you can add Orthos, or a Harambe, or a Chimera. It's just pretty good. You know, going to level 6s with, like, I believe I've got Golem Guardian in here. He's really good, even after the nerf, since everything is Earth, except Ash, and you don't summon Ash. Now we go into the spells and traps. 1 copy of Double Summon, because you can't fit, well, you probably could, but I don't want to fit Brilliant Fusion Engine in here. 1 copy of Foolish Burial to dump Searcher. 2 copies of Left Arm Offering, so you can, like, add Grass. It's just a good card to have, even though it banishes some of your scraps, but 1 copy of Monster Reincarnation. It can put Searchers into a graveyard and replace them with Chimeras. With 1 copy of 1-for-1, once again, dump Searcher, summon Searcher, or dump Searcher, and summon Searcher. That's pretty much it. one copy of Raigeki because it's Raigeki, and the best field spell ever, Scrap Factory. All the scraps you control gain 200 attack and defense, but you don't use it for that. You use it for this effect. When a face-up scrap monster on the field is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon one scrap monster from your deck. You can only do this once per turn, so even if you replace this, you still can only do it once per turn. This is amazing. It's what makes scraps tick. You pop something like Kong, go into Golem, and then you can use Golem to bring back Kong. Or you can pop Dragon by his effect, go into Golem, and then summon something else. Basically just uses to bring out Golem. It's the best way. Next up, 3 copies of Scrapstorm, because you're sending scraps and destroying them. The one card is but I guess it's a cherry on top. You could probably think of something else, but I made this years ago and just teched it out with some new stuff. I made this when grass was a 3. Next up, 1 copy of Soul Charge, because this is a synchro deck, and synchro decks love Soul Charge. Bring back some golems. Just bring back... If you bring back 3 golems, you take 3,000 damage, and then you can bring back more stuff. And then you can go into Trishula, or Star Eater, or Atomic. Yeah, so that's alright. 1 copy of Grass. You can see that a lot of stuff here adds stuff back from your graveyard. So if you dump 3 searches, or something like that, then you can just bastardize and spam searches by destroying stuff. But you can only summon 1 search, I think, because otherwise it misses timing. Next up, 2 copies of Twin Twister. Probably a good spell, or you could run... I think it's Cosmic Cyclone. Wait up. Yeah, this card. Or you could run Cosmic Cyclone. In fact, I'll take one out and put a Cyclone in. So yeah, 1 copy of Cosmic Cyclone, because it's just good. Next up we have 2 copies of Call of the Haunted. I'm sure there are better revival spells, but I don't care enough to check. Use it to bring back Golem. Just everything. This deck is Golem Turbo. Bring out Golem, use him to bring out your other stuff, and then maybe go into some cool cards. Next up, 2 copies of Dimensional Barrier, because we're actually playing Paleo Frogs. You just don't know it. We're not, though, and everything is sad. So it's just a good stun card, and you can declare like links if you think you're fighting a link spam deck. And since this deck only has 2 links, well, it won't affect you. Next up, Drowning Mirror Force. I mean, it's a Mirror Force, good to have. If you can bait out your opponent, then it's alright. And sometimes you will end up with empty fields. Next up, 1 copy of Jar of Avarice. They're not as good as Pot of Avarice, but you can bring, like, golems back. If you shuffle golems into your deck, and then you can destroy something and get off a factory search, then you can bring the golems back. Golem is the best scrap card. Sorry for that. Just telling this mate. Next up, 1 copy of Quaking Mirror Force, because it's Storming Mirror Force, but a bit better and a bit worse. So it's an alright card. Next up, 1 copy of Scrap Crash. I mean, you can fuck over True Kings, maybe? I don't know. You could probably run something else, but I decided to run it because the memes. 2 copies of Solemn Strike, self-explanatory, and 1 copy of Warning because it's Strike on steroids. Now we'll go into the extra deck. 1 copy of Catasta, because Catasta was the best synchro before Trishula. Although, did Trishula come out before? Oh, it doesn't matter. 1 copy of Ancient Fairy Dragon, which I think is banned in the... Yeah, it's banned in the OCG. But yeah, the special summon, you can go summon a shark or a Kong or a beast. It's just a good card. One copy of Rada said this card sucks and it hurts my feelings because fuck Burning Abyss, run it for the memes. And of course, that when all the scrap dragons share the effect of when this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, by opponent's card, either by battle card effect and sent to graveyard, you can special summon one non-synchro scrap from a graveyard. It may as well say you can special summon Golem because you go into Golem. As for him itself, you can destroy one card you control to shuffle 3 cards from your opponent's graveyard into the deck. Fuck over zombies, I guess, and destroy like a searcher. I don't know. Just alright. Good beta as well. One copy of Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. I can't remember why. I can't remember why I ran this card. I guess you can just bounce back a level 5 or higher, which is alright. Next up, one copy of Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Alright. Once again, screws over level 5s. Probably could replace it with Barkion, but I've got Barkion in the side. You know? And it's just an alright card. Not much else to say. I don't know why I ran most of these synchros. I typed in the levels and just put in the good ones. One copy of Goyo Guardian, because it's Goyo. His nerf that makes no sense, by the way. I hate his nerf. Doesn't affect scraps because everything is earth, except this, but you don't summon this. One copy of Leo, because Leo. Just good card, I guess. Good beta. Immune to most effects. One copy of Beast, because it's Barkion but better, and it mills cards. So you can mill your searches, or your golems and cry. One copy of Scrap Dragon, which is... You all know what Scrap Dragon does. Target a card you control and a card your opponent controls, burn them both. And he can special summon... He can replace himself with Golem when he dies. And you can use Golem to go in another dragon. Although I don't have another dragon in there because I took them out for some links. But you could put one in here. Next up, one copy of Twin Dragon, because he bounces stuff and just bouncing is alright. Same reason as you run the 3 dragons because the memes. You can say, oh, I pulled off all the dragons, and they'll go, wow, do you want a medal? But no, so he's alright. Use him to bounce cards. He's, just pretty good. Next up, one copy of Star Eater, because I love Star Eater, and I'm not replacing it with anything. Don't replace Star Eater. It's the best card in the game. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm not even going to say what it does. It's awesome. Read it yourself. One copy of the best synchro in the game, ever, Trish, because fuck though. And for the only Xyz, we have one copy of Abyss Dweller, because, you basically can just use it to fuck over Burning Abyss or something. You'll never go into it unless you're really desperate. But you can go Chimera into Beast into Dweller. Now, for our super cool Link monsters, we have Curious the Lightsworn Dominion, because I just looked up this card and it's actually alright. For 3 monsters with the same type but different attributes, and if you've been paying attention, you'll notice that the attributes are all over the place. Mostly beast, but we've got some wing beasts, some rocks, and some fish, and an insect. So just alright. And when it leaves the field, or is destroyed by battle, you can target one card in your GY, did they translate that? and add it to your hand. So, and you can also activate one of these effects. When it's link summoned, you can send a card from your deck to the GY, which you will use to send Searcher. And if a card is sent from your deck to the GY by an effect, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the GY. You're running a 60 card deck, so obviously you want these monsters in the graveyard so you can golem them out. Next up for our final link, Firewall Dragon, because Firewall Dragon is overpowered. Now, I didn't talk about this in my what's, but I'll go into the side deck. 1 copy of Scrapbreaker, same reason, it's a Cyber Dragon. Just one. 1 copy of Goblin, because it's a level 3. 1 copy of Kong. 1 copy of Shark. 1 copy of Barkion. 1 double summon. 1 left arm offering. 1 pot of Desires. 1 pot of Duality. 1 Scrap Lube, which is Call the Haunted but worse. 1 copy of Scrap Sheen, because it destroys a scrap. 1 copy of Ceasefire, because I don't even know why I put Ceasefire in there. 1 copy of Scrap Crash, 1 copy of Scrap Rage, and 1 copy of Solemn Strike. Now I guess I'll show a duel of scraps. You know? So let's just hope we can find one quick. And I'll be, like, showing off some of the combos that these can do. And I'll be like, hey, here's some basic plays you can make while playing Scrappers. Although, let's be honest, this deck is trash. I drew Ash Blossom. Let's Ash that. Because fuck the world, I have 3 Ash. Oh, I wonder what this guy's playing. Could be the... Oh, it's zombies. Oh, zombies. Eh. He's gonna send me Suki. This isn't a good hand, but as you could probably tell, I'm playing scraps and this isn't a good hand. God, what the hell? I remember hating Omega. I still do. I will go... Now you see, in times like these, you gotta think. You gotta go, alright, is it worth it? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna summon one. Activate Offering. Banish. 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 Because that's a cost. And I'll wait. Go do this, and I'll activate. Oh damn! I didn't think of that. Yeah. So I guess I'll just attack directly, and then you see Worm's gonna die, and I've got no scraps. So, you know. You could probably actually put Omega in there, yeah. But no, well, yeah, I'd say take something out for Omega. You could probably have also... I had 3 terraforming in here at one point. But I guess, you know, that terraforming is the least consequential. Because, you know, if you're running 3 terraforming in a deck, then you may as well run a 57 card deck, you know? Since, well, terraforming you only put in 40 cards because you really need the space. I have Pepsi. It's good. I prefer Pepsi to Coke. Yeah, so let's just hurry this guy up. Holy Sam. I could probably go in right after that. Yeah, so definitely put in an Omega, because Omega's the second best card in the game. Except Trisha. Because Trisha's... He's gonna go Zuki. And you know, he'll send a zombie. And then he's just gonna... I don't even know what he's doing, I don't read at this point. It's like... he's playing Shiranui Solitaire. Jenny Zombie. He knows I can't do anything, because he knows I've only got the grass. I think... Oh man, I still live. Yeah, so I'm fucked. I'll just call GG now. Because there's nothing I can top that. But oh well, you win some, you lose some. And you always lose. So yeah, let's put in an Omega. What can we take out? I might take out Moonlight for it. Alright, back to dueling. Run an Omega, because Omega's really good. I guess I can do one more duel. So we're gonna find a server. Well, a partner. And then we'll be like, well, Lobster, this deck is shit. It can't win against anything. And I will say, you're correct, my friend. But it's the thought that counts. It's the thought. And then they'll be like, oh, so you're playing 60 card scrap for the nostalgia? Hell yeah. Oh, why don't people ready up? Although I guess it's better to make them ready up than to, you know, have to be like, oh, nah, that's nuts. Oh, we found one. Let's send him this. Once I manage to type it. Ooh. Now you see, we didn't draw anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to summon Shark. Because Shark's a big beater that dies really quickly. Because as soon as he activates something, Shark's gonna die. Is this guy playing Monarchs? Oh, he might be playing Monarchs. I'll chalk that up as a win. No, let's call that the win. So anyway, let me know what you think, or ask why I haven't put 3 Mad Lobster in. Peace. By the way, this is still the best. What? Nah.